Hi, the TAKful Creator here. Okay, let's get started. May God the Creator bless us. May God the Redeemer heal us. May God the Holy Spirit enlighten us. Give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and hands to do the work of God. Feet to walk the path of justice and mouths to preach the good news. May the angel of peace, prosperity, love, abundance, guidance, and grace watch over us and lead us to the reign of God. Ashe. Alright, so first and foremost, we have a tower moment. Okay, let me see if is there anything else that's going to fall out of this. No, okay. But I'm being called to leave this one here as our last factor. Okay, so we have a tower moment here, right? Now, this tower moment is being turned on its head, maybe because people are not really accepting it in a way that allows the healing effect to happen properly. Now, what I mean by that is, in order for things to feel better, it kind of has to feel worse, if that makes sense. If you have a wound, oftentimes it's not until you cleanse that wound, where you use rubbing alcohol, peroxide, soap and water, whatever, and usually you'll feel like a sting, or you'll feel like a bit of pressure or a burning sensation. At that point, that purification process to that bad bacteria is happening. And then what's supposed to happen after? You put a bit of, I guess, lubrication on it so that whatever closure, the wound closure that's happening, can do so in its easiest form, quickest form, aesthetic form, because you know when you use like Neosporin and stuff like that, it's supposed to heal the wound so you don't really see the scar too much afterward. So it's supposed to heal it almost to, you know, original value. That only happens after the stinging, only after the purification process. So here's this tower moment, a purification process. We have these cards that fell over here, 3 in reverse, and then we have 1 that is not being shown. Why? Well, we have this tower moment given over here with 19, a bit of grace, but that grace is kind of it's falling flat. That's what the grace is doing. It's not being shown in its proper light. It's not being shown in its proper way because of this energy here. This energy of knowing that there's going to be an external peace. There's going to be peace later on. But what is the definition of later on? You get what I'm saying? Because an eternal peace could mean in another lifetime. It could be a death to something in this 3D reality, and in another reality, something else could be born. Or it could be, and it could be as simple as shifting realities. But here, we can also mean like eternal peace with an idea, a prospect, a path, a purpose, you know, something to focus on. Right? And because there's one singular focus, there's a peace that comes with it. Not entirely because it is peaceful, but there's peace knowing what is happening. Okay? Now, we have this gentlemanly card in reverse. So this person is not of significance. We can call this the karmic masculine card, because for one, it's in its immature energy, with the brown and green here needing grounding and luck to kind of shift the dynamic. But in reverse, it's strictly karmic. This person is not really showing up in a high vibrational light whatsoever. They are showing up kind of looking toward this piece like a fond memory, opposed to looking toward this piece like this is the trajectory. So for example, if someone's eating cheese curds, or you know, anything having to do with curds, you know, I guess I'm sensing your energy. But if the cards fell in this order, where the gentlemanly card was in the upright looking toward the peace, it would be him moving out of a karmic cycle into a plateau. And that plateau can be understanding the lesson and surviving that version of you that accepted that pattern. But here in the reverse, it's like they're accepting that they're a part of this pattern, and that peace is something that they look for only at one point. There's a movie, Wreck-It Ralph, right? And at the end of the movie, Ralph wanted to see, I think, what was it, Princess Gubblebum? Gubble bubblegum, yeah, or something like that. Gumdrop, Princess Gumdrop, there you go. And when they went to their separate games, the only time he could see her was in the morning, when the game started. And that was like the brink of his day, right? But that was beginning the cycle, beginning the start of the day, and the whole, well, what's going on throughout the day? What's happening? You know, the transition. Okay, it's the back and forth, the back and forth. They are the enemy, they are the enemy, they are the enemy. And then, you know, they rest. Why? Because the next morning they can look forward to that 2 seconds of seeing, you know, Gumdrop, Princess Gumdrop. However, here we're seeing that the reason why this karmic is pondering the good times while they're in this cycle, because we see that in this cycle is that they're a part of a death and rebirth. They're moving along this transition, but as they're moving up toward this peace, their mind state hasn't changed. So now they have to return into the cycle. Why? What is their mind state that hasn't changed? The card right here that was next to them that wasn't flipped. It is that I'm needy. I'm needy. That's what I'm hearing in my mind. I mean, I'm not personally needy, but it's a very codependent energy here that has to shift to some kind of internal dependence, right? And this internal dependence could be seen as independence by other people dependently. So independently, I depend on other contractors to handle certain facility work so that I don't have to manage it. However, it is my overall business, and the only reason why these contract workers are here is to assist me in my overall goal. You get what I'm saying? So in a sense, me as a boss, I'm not being needy. I'm not saying, oh, I need people to help me facilitate. No, I'm saying that I have an opportunity for people to make a source of income. Would you like to make a source of income? If so, it can be a barter. Now, if people see that a lot of the time the interaction in the collective is a barter, I am sharing my energy with you in hopes that you share your energy equally or better with me. This way, if you do something better with me, I can pay it forward with someone else. And then we collectively build the vibration. However, if people are moving in this karmic cycle, it removes us from that positive vibration that we're so seeking to maintain. Okay, that's the plateau that we want to be at. But we have to let go of collectively having our masculine energy that's always looking toward the peace being toxic and karmic, when in actuality it's the neediness behind it, or the feeling of not wanting to be needy behind it, that is removing this bliss from being more like the rebirth process is causing this significant male to move into a more divine light toward this eternal peace. So the issue here is, why are the cards situated like so? Well, it's this tower moment that is bringing to light this repression, this subconscious energy here. This subconscious energy, this, I guess, internal, feminine energy that's toxic, because I said energy. So toxic internal energy, if we're talking about a toxic masculinity here, it's like maybe there was a woman or a group of women in this masculine's life that suggested neediness was low caliber, especially for a male. So if depending on anyone, even if it's a source of happiness, like I like to watch my favorite show because it makes me happy. I like to wear my favorite shirt because it makes me happy. Like, in a sense, you're building a interdependence on that shirt to where if you were to look at it, you can shift your vibration from wherever you are into a positive light. That's the whole reason why we say when you're going through a breakup, remove everything, is so that you can let go of whatever could potentially put your mind state in a negative light, right? So in this removal process, because that's what I feel like this karmic energy is doing, they're excessively removing everything around them that is not feeding their ego, because that's what karmic masculines are all about. Karmic feminine energy is all about solitude, sulkiness, not really Hierophant energy. Is more so like reclusive, sloth-like energy. That's kind of like toxic femininity, right? Toxic masculinity can show up as in rage and anger outbursts. It can also show up as disassociation and detachment. So whereas the toxic femininity harps on something for an extended period of time, you have the toxic masculinity, which is overly aggressive with it. Okay, so it's like, how do we temper those emotions? Now, gear this, how do we temper those emotions? Because this was in reverse, we're seeing that there's a transition period. This is not the finite answer. If this was the cards, that would be the end of the reading. But we have a little bit of, I would say, hope here that doesn't seem fully in the upright. Why? So let's flip it. Stability and security. So what is contingent with this Tower moment? Understanding what stability actually is, how it shows up, and how to get there. Oftentimes stability comes with emotional purging, emotional healing. That is that 35 that's up here in the corner, right? So we have that 3, recognizing help, and 5, obeying it. Seeing that the change is to assist you better, and the change is not really a quick change, but is a change that is forthcoming. You had some kind of foreshadowing about it. The 3 and 5 together is 8, symbolizing forgiveness. So forgive maybe the lack of instability. Forgive the need to have reassurance that stability is something that you have, that the stability is just there and prominent. Okay, so here we have these two side by side. So the emotional healing is taking place to a certain degree. It's not at the forefront, and it's not being completely pushed away. So we can see that this will be the transition period, right? So it's not until this man, because we can say this one man, but is really pushing both masculine and feminine toxicity, but the masculine card is here. So we're going to push that this is a masculine energy, right? And he's showing up as a male in this scenario. So this peace that he's looking for, that was to him in the past, which eternal peace is usually in the future, but the peace for him was in the past. He's going through this rebirth process, and this rebirth process is causing him to hide the fact that there is needs he's not fulfilling. The needs that naturally, by natural law, we have this 2 and 3, 23 together is natural law, understanding the process of how things unfold. And then you have the 2, believing that this is the path for you because of the help, 3, recognizing it, that's available to you, giving you the signs and synchronicities. But you have to see that the 2 and 3 together, the 5, you have to obey it. You have to see that this change is a change for the better. The change is being disguised, because at the end of the day, it was going to happen for you. It shouldn't be seen as a change, but it should be seen as something that is incorporated into your daily functions. And we change every second. Okay, so that is reaffirming that whatever neediness you have here is expected based on the experience you're having. Why? Because you're moving into seeing what stability is. Now we see that one card says this is all about a Tower moment. However, the Tower moment is in connection, directed more toward this group, even though the stability is here first. So maybe this energy is not seeing that this is a Tower moment. This energy is seeing the lack of stability, or the seeming instability, I guess. Whatever. For terminology, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. This is the disguise. This is the cloak here. But it's actually the divine offering a Tower moment, so that they can see that this shouldn't even be confirmation. This shouldn't even be at the forefront. If stability is what you're acquiring, and then here, A new beginning is right at the end of this. But what has to take place? How beautiful is it that we have this new beginning card, this 13, which is order. Order is happening in flow. Why? Because you took the necessary steps. Natural law, life is unfolding for you. Then it gives you an opportunity to make a clear decision, left or right. Then at this point where you make this decision left or right, and this is here with this tower moment, this seeing how you can gain stability, emotional stability, by letting the universe, letting the world know. The universe could be the people around you, talking to them. The universe could be you screaming it out in nature. It could be you screaming it into your pillow, you crying it into the shower, listening to it in music. Like, this is all about letting yourself, your inward self, be shown outward. Not subconsciously, where it's seeping out, but consciously. You are making the choice to let your insides be heard. Emotionally. Now that your insides are heard emotionally, this is at the forefront. This moving from seemingly instability, to could be stability, is going to move into stability. Why? Because this tower moment is going to be accepted as is. Now, what is that tower moment? Letting go of this energy, this entire energy, all four cards, looking back as if the piece is behind you instead of in front of you, living and thriving in this karmic energy. And yes, there's a lot of people who believe they're thriving in this karmic energy, right? Removing this aspect of you and seeing that in no way, shape, or form, in any regard, is this acceptable. Even if somebody's harming you or doing something to you, it's not acceptable. Okay? And seeing that the death and rebirth process is all a part of your fundamentals. It's all a part of how you're supposed to develop in the world. Okay? So if any card would be shifted from here to here, it would be this death and rebirth process. Because the death and rebirth process would be replacing, not this, oh, am I stable, am I not stable, am I secure, am I not secure, like, and this could be emotionally, like, are my insecurities bubbling up, or, are these, like, real feelings, are these my feelings, like, all these questions of inadequacy, not seeing the abundance around you, right? And appreciating it so that it is maintained around you. Which is really a tower moment to let you see that, hey, some lessons need to be taught here on gratitude and appreciation, even for the smallest gestures. These two will be replaced then, because we're going to move all of this, shimmy on over to in the past cycle. Because they're moving out of that karmic cycle into, in life, we're going to naturally have rebirths. Why? Because we're constantly growing, we're constantly ascending, we're constantly going to have to let go of versions of ourselves, and we have to mourn and grieve those versions of ourselves that accepted less than. Why? Because those were blessings at one point. And if we didn't get there, we wouldn't be able to get to the next level. Okay? Which is here. We wouldn't be able to get here. This new beginning, that is the younger of the cards. A blue beginning of healing and emotional wellness. Emotional, I wouldn't say excess, but emotional vulnerability to where it is. Oh, emotional expression. Right? A new, innocent, childlike beginning. Okay, so let's ask Divine, is there anything more we need to know here? Hi, Divine. Can you show me now? Thank you, yes. Thank you, and that we're on the right track. Much appreciated. Okay, so this new beginning. Are we in that period right now? Okay. So that's what I was feeling up into the reading, because I'm just like, it's so finite, but it's sitting on top of all these other cards that are suggesting so much more information we can tap into. But I'm not really being called to tap into this energy with these cards. Okay, so let's see. Should we tap into another reading? Okay, awesome. And this new beginning, if it's happening at the moment that we're listening to this reading, which means that it could have happened prior 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 weeks prior to this reading, and at the moment that you're listening to this is when you're in the next stage that hasn't been unfolded, so you can actually get your foreshadowing. Okay, so this reading is a past reading, past/present reading, and stay tuned. I'm going to add it to the end of this too. Stay tuned for the future reading. Okay, so I see us soon. Until the next.